This is the plaintiff, Lena Pereira. She says she rented a house to the defendant, and the crafty woman sold the shed on the property to someone else. When she confronted the plaintiff, she told her it was infested with bugs and she got rid of it. That makes no sense to her. She knows the woman sold it. She can't just go and do that with her property. So she's suing this woman for the $4,900 she's owed. This is the defendant, Suzette Gibbs. She says she told the plaintiff the shed was moldy, falling down and infested with bugs and lizards, and she wanted to remove it to make room for an above-ground pool. The plaintiff told her, "Sure, honey, no problem." Now, all this time later, after they had a dispute, the woman's claiming she sold the piece of junk. Ha! She's accused of shedding a shed. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,440 for pain and suffering and other costs.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff rented a house to the defendant, and the defendant sold the shed in the back to somebody else. But the defendant says she told the plaintiff the shed was moldy and infested with bugs and lizards, and the plaintiff wanted it out. It's the case of Now I'm Shedding Tears.
Thank you, Douglas. Lena Pereira, you are suing Suzette Gibbs for $4,900 for a shed that, according to you, she ripped off of your property with no permission. You have counterclaimed against her for $3,440 for pain and suffering and your plumber fees. All right, let's hear what happened.
Miss Suzette is my tenant. I rented her my house about 2 years. I had people came before her. They want to pay me $1,500. She came same time. She already had $1,200. She looked desperate and needy. And I just said, I'm going to give it to you, the house.
I have yet to meet the landlord who can rent for $15 and rents for $12 instead out of the goodness of their heart.
That's not true.
But anyway, let's move on from that point.
Okay.
So you rented her the place for $1,200. Is there a lease?
Yes.
May I see the lease?
I don't have that.
Why do you have a lease if you're not going to keep a copy of it? Do you have a copy of it?
I do. I had it. Here it is.
Okay, how long are you living there now?
Oh, yes. Wait till I tell you about this.
No, just tell me, are you living there now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so what happens? Why are you here? I have the lease. Okay.
I was looking out there. I saw my shed was missing.
Because you used to have a shed there. Describe the shed for me.
The shed is more like I have the picture of the shed here. I cannot tell you.
Wait, stop. That is not a picture of your shed.
Okay,
That is estimates of other sheds.
I believe.
Do you have a picture of your shed,
No,
yes or no?
no,
okay.
I have satellite picture.
Now I need you to describe,
Yes.
what's that?
That is from the satellite. I took it out from
That's what I want. Well,
Yeah,
that was pretty
yeah.
good.
That one, another one.
Okay. Whose idea was that?
That was my idea.
Very good. That was going to be my idea next. Okay.
It's not very clear.
Yeah, I got it. So there's the shed. All right. So now, what would fit inside that shed? What did you use to put in there?
You know, I put a paints, and you can put a lawnmower.
All right, so so tell me what happens. You look back and you notice that the tenant has ripped out your shed. And you never gave her permission to do that?
No.
All right, so what happens? You end up filing for eviction.
Yes.
And the reasons that you filed for eviction is she tore out the shed, and what else? She withheld rent.
Yes, and also she been harassing me.
Okay.
She got the court enforcement. And
Okay.
I don't believe that, plumbing problem was caused by the hurricane. And
Wait, slow down. You're all over the place. All right, so hurricane you're referring to is Irma.
Yeah.
And Irma, after Irma, you withheld money because of a plumbing issue, correct?
No, ma'am. I actually used, which was our agreement, was that I would pay the plumber.
Yeah, watch this. Did you agree to that?
No.
She doesn't look to me like somebody who
Okay.
agreed, but we'll talk about that in a second, because you may have that right even if she doesn't agree. But my question to you is, how much was the plumbing fee that you deducted from the rent?
$1,740.
And how much is the rent?
$1,200.
Let's back up a second. The Hurricane Irma hits, and that's September what, 23rd?
No, Hurricane Irma hits early September,
12th.
the 9th or the 10th?
September 10th.
The
10th.
September 10th.
10th.
So what happens is there's a big oak tree in front on the side of the house. It starts swaying. I didn't know there was a problem. The hurricane's over. The next day, I see a bunch of water just flowing straight down the driveway. So when we go outside, we see that the roots of the tree were wrapped around this pipe on the outside, which I have pictures of. And it pulled it.
Let me see the pictures.
These are pictures taken by code enforcement.
Okay.
So it got pulled on the outside. So what happened was I contacted Miss Lena. I went over there and I told her, at this point, there's no lights and now there's no water. We had to shut off the main water valve. That water was also flooding the 2 back bedrooms in the back, that there's pictures of that as well.
Show me the pictures of flooding.
And
You don't have the actual pictures? Because this is really hard to see in thumbnail.
Well, I have a video of the day of the flooding. I do have a video. You
Let
want
me
to see that?
I do.
Okay. So now, when that situation happened, I contacted her. I said, we can't stay there. There's no lights and no water.
Right.
So what I did was I contacted FEMA.
Right.
FEMA gave me a room at the extended stay a few blocks from my house for 7 to 10 days. We stayed there. When we came home, the water was still running out. The neighbors called.
How is it still running out? Nobody had
Because
shut the
nobody
water?
came. She never came.
Okay. Do you remember talking to her after the hurricane?
No.
Well, did you go check on your property
No.
after the
Yeah, I
hurricane?
did.
Okay. And what was going on at your property?
When I went there was no water leak. I didn't see any.
I mean, I'm looking at the pictures that were taken by code enforcement showing what appears to be some water damage
Get a video?
and
Miss-
also
No, Judge,
the
Judge.
pipe. Do you have
Judge-
video after the hurricane?
No, yeah, this is the video of while we were staying at the hotel, the water flowing through the side of the house from that issue. I had the plumber fix it. She never been to the house.
Hold on. You want me to see it or you want me to listen? Okay.
Both.
I can't do both.
She's never came. She showed up to the property only after I called code enforcement.
So you called code enforcement when?
I called code enforcement way after. I called code enforcement September 27th.
Okay,
Now,
and why did you call code enforcement?
because the agreement between me and her was that she told me, and I have proof here, she said to me that when I contacted FEMA, that she did not want me to deal with FEMA because she didn't have homeowners insurance. I said, well, we have to do something about this. She said, well, honey, I know you love the house. I trust you. I love you. It doesn't matter. Get the problem fixed. So she didn't fix it,
So you
and she
hire
didn't come.
somebody to fix it. May I see any paperwork from the plumbing company? Well, how about like a real receipt instead of an email that anybody could write, including you?
No, ma'am, because those were the estimates that he gave me. He sent them to me via email.
Tell me what you've paid the plumber.
$1,740.
So do you have proof of payment to him, like your canceled checks or whatever else?
No, I did this dumb thing and paid him in cash as well.
But you don't
he's
have a
good
receipt.
guy.
Well, now we got a problem.
Okay.
Okay, because I need something other than an email which you could have written outside 20 minutes before coming in, and then tell me I have no proof I paid a plumber. No, I need to see that.
He did work for me in the past.
I don't care. What does that have to do with what I'm
Well, Your
saying?
Honor, I just paid him in cash. The last thing I thought was that this lady was going to
Okay,
bring
well,
me to
why
court
would you
for
pay anybody
anything.
in cash without getting a receipt? Can I ask you that question so they can later say you didn't pay them?
I pay her in cash every month.
Well,
and don't get a
why?
receipt
What?
either.
That's what you're saying in your defense?
No, it's not.
That
It's
is
the truth.
dumb each time you do
Yes,
it.
ma'am. I
Do you ever
understand.
watch a people's court? Because I've spent the last 20 years telling people to grab the nearest crayon and the nearest roll of toilet paper and write down a receipt.
I already told my family you were going to yell at me for
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I did.
All right, well, I suppose I can try to figure out how legit this is.
Wait,
So let's assume for a moment we'll figure out how legit this is. According to her, you ripped out her shed. What happened?
So about 2 years ago, I wanted to put an above-ground pool in the backyard. So me and her always have gotten along very well. I go to her house and I asked her for permission. She said, sure, honey, do whatever you want. I said, Miss Lena, it's a really big pool. I said, so in order to put the pool back, the way I want it to look nice, I said, I have to, get rid of the shed. I said, anyway, look, the shed is full of mildew and bugs and it's nasty. It didn't have a door or anything. It actually had like a piece of rug. It wasn't a shed that you buy from like Home Depot, the ones that look like a stable or anything. It was put in with like wood paneling that kind of you used in
Inside?
the 80s inside the house.
So it would-
outside. And it had the top of the shingles that you put on a rooftop for a house. That's what was on the top of the shed. So she said, sure, honey, no problem.
Did you get it in writing?
No.
Okay.
And that
Can
shed,
you prove she gave you permission to remove her property?
Your Honor, all I have is what I'm saying, and she's doing this out of retaliation
'Cause you called-
Because not
Code
only did I
enforcement.
call code
All right.
enforcement, but FEMA also declared the house unhealthy, and I'm waiting on a second inspection to come in because
Okay,
of
so
all the problems
what's your
that
plan? You have to move from there, right?
Exactly. It's unhealthy for me and my
Right,
children.
I know.
have-
So why are you still living there?
Well, I'm actually moving out now on the 15th, and I have receipts that I paid for another place to live.
You are counterclaiming. I know what her lawsuit against you is all
Yes,
about.
ma'am.
It's all about a shed.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
you don't have pictures of the shed. The shed was there already when you bought the property,
Yes,
right?
yes.
How old is the shed?
I bought that, I am not sure. I bought the property about 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
When I bought it,
When was the house built?
I'm not sure.
How old is the house?
The house was built like 1970 something. If you look
Okay.
on Trulia,
all right,
you'll see
stop.
it.
Why are you suing for plumber fees $840?
Well, I paid the plumber fees.
I thought you paid the plumber $1740.
Where are you talking about 840? 840 was.
This is your lawsuit. This is what you just signed when you came in. You had a
Okay.
chance to read it.
Your Honor, I paid him 2 payments. I paid him one
Yes,
in
your
October.
testimony in court
Yes,
is I paid him
for that fee.
$1740,
Yes.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your lawsuit is for $840 in plumber fees.
Well, the division in half for October. Those are the installments. That's what I mean to say. That's the installment.
How is that what you mean to say? The lawsuit's today. You're not going to bring another lawsuit next week for another installment.
No.
What is it you're suing for here?
The
Plumber fees $840. How much is that counterclaim for?
$1740.
Okay, not $840.
Not $840, ma'am.
Court's in recess.
All rise.
So would you rely on an oral promise from your landlord to, oh, yeah, go ahead and paint the house. Yeah, go ahead and do whatever, to alter the house? Would you rely on it?
Yes, I would. I mean, it's a verbal agreement, right, which is as good as written. And when that,
Well, it is a verbal agreement that is, it's binding, but you do it. What do you say?
I would do it as well.
Because, what's the problem with this? Does anybody?
It depends what kind of renovation you're gonna.
Oh, no. There's another problem.
If it's not a written agreement, I feel like it's very risky because people can switch up just whenever.
Sandbag you and say, I never said that. And all of a sudden they look at it and I never said it. So it's your word against theirs and you're screwed going inside the courtroom.
All I need to worry about to resolve this issue that's before me today is what is that shed worth? And then in your counterclaim, you ask for pain and suffering. This isn't a pain and suffering case, no. And you're asking for first month's rent in the new place. You changed that actually, and what you asked for were the plumbing fees. Now, I just reread your answer to the complaint. In your answer to the complaint, you never once said that you paid the plumber $1,740. What you said was that you paid the plumber $1,400. And I'm wondering, why are there all these different figures? Oh, no worry, Judge. Just look at the receipt, which any human would bring me if they're bringing a lawsuit on what you paid the plumber, and I don't have a receipt. I know you paid the plumber something, but I don't know what you paid the plumber.
The $1,400, Your Honor, is minus the $400 deposit I had already given him. That's why I said
Yeah,
that to the producer.
$1,800 isn't $1,740. So you can't just, no. See, you want me to glean nothing from that, but not when it happens 5 times. I glean something. Okay. What do we call this?
Boy, this goes beyond rough justice.
Yeah. Except for that's
don't have
all
a
I
name for
got.
it.
That's all I got,
That's it.
right?
So then it's rough justice.
It's rough justice. I have, unlike your estimates, I have gone on the internet to try to find a comparable for a used for a 50-year-old, 40-year-old, 30-year-old wood shed, and it's nowhere near what you're asking for. It's about $800, and I have absolutely no clue what you paid a plumber. And my little sense of rough justice is this. I'm going to value the shed at $800. I'm going to value the plumbing at $800. So you each owe each other $800, so it cancels out. And that's my verdict.
So in a case where neither the plaintiff nor the defendant had enough evidence to prove their case, it ends up being a wash. Nobody gets anything here. So, Ms. Pierre, how do you feel about this?
Well, the thing is, we have the best justice system in the world, and people have to have proof in order to prove in court.
Well, listen, you almost sound like a slum landlord. You're not doing anything, and she's living in a house with running water still in it.
Well, I told her to move out.
Yeah, well, she is moving.
I tried to fix the problem.
No,
but
apparently you didn't. Well, it doesn't sound very good on your part now, Ms. Gibbs. I know you were trying like mad to win your case, but boy, oh boy, do you understand the judge's
Yes,
dilemma
yes,
with
I
you?
do. Yes, I do.
You just had nothing.
Well, actually,
no hard evidence.
Once I got here, I realized that I forgot my receipt from the plumber at the house.
Boy, did you
So,
need to, and paying cash for everything with no receipts? Stupid.
I trust a little old slumlord.
Well, you've learned a valuable
Yes,
lesson.
I sure have.
I'm
but I
sorry
think she
for it.
was fair. I think the judge was fair, though, because had I had my receipt, I definitely would have won the case.
You're right. Okay, good for you.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Sorry about this. That was a kind of a fascinating dispute, Harvey.
Oh, okay, well, they're talking behind me saying what I was going to say, which is that you get this in writing, either an email or text, at the very least, before you alter anything. Trust me on this.